Honestly speaking, Kings Island is one of the best amusement parks out there. Owned and operated by Cedar Fair, ever since this park made its debut back in 1972, it's been home to some of the best attractions out there. As much as the park may have had quite a rocky history, it's definitely changed over the last 16 years. However, today I'm going to be reviewing Kings Island. Located in Mason, Ohio, United States, the park covers just over 350 acres of land, and after that it's definitely one of the larger amusement parks. However, in this is the case, it also offers an amazing backdrop. This is due to most of the park being surrounded by trees. As much as it doesn't sound like a lot, it definitely improves the experience. Something that's pointed out is it's actually quite an easy place to get to. The reason why I say this is due to the park's closest city only being around 25 miles away. And I'll say that even though I didn't get to experience it, Cincinnati actually is like a really nice city. But in terms of the park itself, Kings Island arguably has one of the best coaster collections out there, with in my opinion the best of which being Orion. Making its debut back in 2020, this B&M Gear coaster is one of the best roller coasters on the planet. And what makes this ride so great is that every element on the coaster is at the top of its game. To start off with, the first drop might literally be the best drop on any coaster out there. This is due to it standing at a height of 300 feet, along with also having an 85-degree angle. However, besides the first drop, the coaster provides some great airtime along with an intense turnaround section. Another great coaster at the park is Diamondback, and I have to say that I actually found it quite hard to decide between this and also Orion, but due to the latter having a more well-rounded layout, I had to give it the edge. But by no means does this mean it's a bad ride, as Diamondback has some of the best airtime out there, and before riding I wasn't really expecting much from it. However, after both my two rides in the back row, it's become one of my favourite roller coasters. However, besides the airtime, it also offers a smooth layout along with even a splashdown section. Next up is Mystic Timbers, and despite not being the tallest, fastest, or even the longest coaster at the park, it sure packs a punch. And after that, even though the back row gives some great airtime, the front is definitely the place to be. This is due to getting pushed up into your restraint, along with it also having a great sense of speed. And even though the park may have hyped up the shed way too much, I felt like it just added to the already great experience. Right on the other side of the park is Banshee, built back in 2014 by B&M. This is probably the most unique version of their inverted coasters. The reason why I say this is due to being much more gradual, and even though it may take away from some of the intensity, it still offers a great first drop, which I say gives a nice whip on the back row. Along this, it also offers 7 inversions and even some great hang time. Overall, it's a fun ride and it's definitely a must do. Probably the most iconic coaster at the park is the Beast, and the reason why I say this is due to being the longest wooden roller coaster out there. As much as you can definitely feel its 7,361 feet of track, it does also offer some great airtime along with an intense helix. However, it's not only the day which makes this ride amazing, as once the sun goes down, it just brings this ride to the next level. Flight of Fear is the park's premierised LIM coaster, and I'll say that I was actually quite disappointed. As much as I can definitely appreciate the theming in both the queue line and also the station, I felt like the train was just shaking at every turn. And by no means was it painful, but it was definitely noticeable. Another coaster at the park is the Bat, and I have to say that it definitely doesn't disappoint. This is due to the coaster focusing on low to the ground turns and even some weak airtime, and unlike most of the company's suspended coasters, the swinging was literally insane. Another inverted coaster at the park is Invertigo, and even though the coaster is now over 20 years old, I actually found it to be quite smooth. Along this, it also had a great cobra roll and even a nice loop, and due to this ride being a shuttle coaster, you get to experience the layout once more. Another classic at the park is the Racer, and just like in Vertigo, I actually found the layout to be really smooth. Along this, it also offers some great airtime and even the dueling aspect, and I have to say that on both my two rides, the coaster had a perfect duel. One of the more underrated coasters is Ballock Stunt Coaster, and due to the park's other premierised coaster not being that great, I had to say I actually had quite low expectations. However, I have to say that it was actually really good fun. This is due to offering an intense helix and always some nice effects. Next up is Adventure Express, and despite its shaky nature, it's actually my favourite aerodynamics mine train. As much as it's something to shout about, it definitely used the train to its advantage. The last of the 12 coasters I got to experience was Woodstock Express, and before I got the chance to experience it, I never really heard anything about this coaster, but I have to say it's actually one of my favourite family coasters. This is due to offering a smooth layout along with some nice airtime. However, even though I had the chance to experience 12 of the park's coasters, there were 2 more on my visit which I didn't get to experience, with the first of which being Flying Ace Aerial Chase, and due to this coaster being closed most of the day, I unfortunately didn't get to experience it. However, in this case, it still did have a nice first drop along with some fun turns. The other coaster I didn't get to experience was the Great Pumpkin Coaster, and due to this coaster having a height restriction, there wasn't really any way I could get on it. And even though Kings Island has some of the best roller coasters on the planet, they do also offer some other attractions, and on my visit, the only non-coaster I got to experience was the KI Miami Valley Railroad, and due to this coaster being the park's transportation system, it actually gave some great views over the park along with the surrounding area. But if you want to shows and entertainment, Kings Island do also offer various different character interactions. However, the only negative about the entertainment were the shows, and this is due to most of the shows only really taking place over their events. But in terms of where to eat on your visit, Kings Island actually has some really good food options, and on my visit we decided to be opposite Diamondback. However, due to the restaurant not actually showing up on their website, I unfortunately can't find the official name. However, as much as Kings Island are famous for their coasters, they are also famous for their blue ice cream, and I'll say that even though it had quite a long line, it was definitely worth the wait. Another thing to point out were the staff members, and just like all the Cedar Fair parks we visited, the staff are amazing, and even even though it's only a small part of the day, it definitely improves the experience. However, as I briefly mentioned, Kings Island is one of the best amusement parks at night, and due to me having around 3 hours to explore the park at night, I didn't really get to see much of it. However, I would definitely recommend a night ride on both Orion and of course the Beast. This is due to them both being set within the trees and makes for quite an eerie atmosphere. But overall, Kings Island is one of the best amusement parks out there. From the world-class rides to the amazing staff, it's honestly a place that everyone needs to experience. However, what is your opinion on Kings Island? Make sure to leave any thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, I'll see you in the next one.